Welcome to Allie's Attic Show, where you never know what kind of surprise you're going to find in my attic. I'm your host, Allie, and today my surprise is a singer-songwriter and a Southern California native raised in Bellflower and San Bernardino, respectively. I was so worried I was going to mess that up. Please welcome Patrice Lee. Hello!
Well, hello.
How are you?
I'm doing amazing, thank you.
Awesome. I've been so looking forward to this. And you know Rain as well as I do. And she's been like, when is Patrice coming on? When is so she's very excited. Okay, so Patrice Lee, tell me your journey from when you started right up to now, and I'll fill in any blanks that you miss.
Absolutely. Well, I've been involved with music since I was very young age. I've always been the type of child that's been into musical instruments. So I went through, learning how to play the keyboard and piano by ear, to writing poetry, to musical theater in high school, in college, and then being a ghostwriter. And the whole intent in the beginning was me kind of honing my craft as a writer because I was unsure of who I was as a singer because I didn't fit in a category per se. So it's been an interesting journey after writing for so many people for so many years. It turned into, why don't you just sing your own stuff the way that you sing it, the way that you write it? Mm-hmm. So I did a couple of demos and it turned out really well.
Yes, it did.
Turned out really well. I was surprised and shocked because I'm so much of an introvert, and it was, people would say, but it's strange that you can do theater and you can play these characters and get on stage, but when it comes to music, it was kind of like, but this is kind of different because these are my emotions in these songs that I have to display now. And I was kind of like, I don't know if this is a good idea, but after getting on stage performing with the standalone mixtape in 2013 and 14, I cannot get off stage now. Now it's like, hey, I actually love this. It's not a character. It's just me.
Well, that's good. You're so good. I mean, we already, if people are listening to Allie's Amplified Attic on a regular basis, they've heard your songs, the two songs I have. I love your voice and I love the songs, and I love that it was unexpected. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. Now, it says in your bio, and I love this, that you're a Renaissance woman and you're as diverse as your professional and personal background. And so you say that your life story is a cross between your favorite movie, The Wiz, and Whitney Houston's swan song, Sparkle.
Yes, absolutely. In the music industry, I've learned along the way, it's a challenge with finding yourself, and that comes along with finding yourself in life in general. But when you're thrust into an entertainment side of your life, it's kind of going, how much do I want people to know? Do I want to air out my dirty secrets or talk about situations that I've been through? How are they going to receive it correctly? And, growing up, I had a very tough childhood and very, very, very tumultuous, time at times in life. And it was just therapy for me. It was more so of understanding and accepting that life is the way it is, and accepting and loving me for who I am, and not trying to box myself in a bubble. So that finding myself along the way and building the confidence as I was going through the journey was an intricate part of the actual journey itself. And knowledge of self was most important for me. I didn't want to get tied up into, the negative side of the industry of what people portray and what people tell you, because a lot of people give you advice and say, the music industry is bad, it's scary, you have to change, you have to be this. And that fear alone is what kind of held me back. But overcoming that fear and saying, you know what, I am who I am. And it's turning into something really beautiful. And I'm really proud of the latest works that I've been working on.
Well, I'm glad that you are sharing. I know I had a very awful childhood and a lot of really bad relationships because it's kind of like a cycle that you get caught up in. And I finally got out of it, and I never would have done this if I hadn't got out of it and, decided that, I'm not stupid. And so I can relate to what you have gone through. I mean, I don't know the whole story, but I know it's hard to love yourself when you come from a background like that. I'm still struggling on that part. I'm so glad you're not.
You know what? It's a work in progress. And the first step for me was just loving me. You know what I mean? It was just accepting and loving every flaw and every imperfection that I deemed a flaw or imperfection, and just waking up every morning going, you know what? I'm me. This is my body. This is my mind. This is how I feel. And this is where I want to go, versus worrying about what everybody else expected me to do.
Yeah, and that's freeing because I don't care anymore. I do what I want, and isn't it freeing? Like it's like you're flying. I don't know. I can't even explain it.
Absolutely.
Now, okay, so following your successful mixtape standalone on datpiff.com, Coast to Coast mixtapes and others released in February 2014, which you've already talked about, gracing the stage throughout Southern California and featuring on multiple projects with upcoming artists, you began creating a buzz in the industry when you released music videos on your official Patrice Lee YouTube music channel, Pandora, iTunes, and Spotify, rounding out 2017 on Apple Music, and a fast climb with the release of Fuckin' with Feelings via SoundCloud, reaching over 10.3K in 3 months of its release.
Yeah, that was shocking.
I could imagine. I'd be like, what? Now, I mean, doesn't that like justify everything that you've overcome and what you're doing?
You know what? It did. It did, because that particular song I was told was, oh, that song's not going to work. The song is trash. Try singing a different way, or sing like, this singer or that singer. And I just was like, no, this is how I'm feeling. And I just want to see what happens. And when it happened, I was like, okay, so I believe I was right.
Yeah, I think you were. I definitely think you were.
I think people are really fucking with feelings. I think it hit a mark. So it worked out.
It did. Well, it did, obviously. Now, you are currently writing and recording your official album, Fucking with Feelings, which we just talked about. It's a mid-tempo, relaxed palette of smooth vocals with lyrics from torn out pages of your personal life. And it's reminiscent of the early 90s R&B with an edge of uncensored honesty. I love the tone of your voice, and I love R&B music, period. So when you sent me your music just to go on my station, I was like, I want to interview her. I want her on my show. So that's why we extended the invitation, because I love your music.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're so welcome. And you have an undeniable stage presence. And like you said, now you love being up there, which makes a big difference.
Yes, absolutely. It's not the initial, I'm shaking, I don't know if I should do this, and how am I going to sound, and I don't know if they're going to like me. Now it's like, just give me the microphone. Come on.
I'm not, I can't, I'm better behind the mic than I am. Like, I have to do live things every now and then, and I'm just like, oh my God, like YouTube and stuff. And I'm like, I don't want anybody to see. And that's from 18 years of being behind a microphone. So the only time I tried to get on stage, I actually got sick. That's all I'm going to say. So congratulations to you for overcoming that fear, because I don't know if I have yet. Now, your current projects, you're working with 4HM Entertainment.
Yes.
Yes, I'm very excited about it. And you've released, okay, so you released Liberation, the mixtape, June 30th of 2018. You've been busy. Nightcap EP is slated to be released November 15th of 2018. And you're preparing for touring throughout 2019 and releasing your official album, The Fucking with Feelings, early 2019.
Yes. Oh, yes. This is going to be such a joyride.
Yeah, you're going to be busy. It's going to be, and it's just going to be one thing after another. So you're going to be current and, always in the forefront, which is awesome. Now, based on everything that you've gone through, and like we've already heard, you've gone through the people telling you that this industry, and I mean, it is a hard industry. I'm not a musician, but I've talked to enough of them to know that this is like really, really hard. And most musicians have to work full time and do this on the side. So based on what you've gone through in the industry, Patrice Lee, what would you tell another artist out there to like for advice?
I would definitely say be aware of self. You have to, you definitely have to know, what makes you tick, how to control your emotions, not to overthink things, which is really, really hard because a lot of it, you'll get a lot of negative feedback and then in the same breath get a positive response to something. So being able to control your emotions and understand that it's a journey and it's not for everyone. You know, in a perfect world, you can make a song and everybody in the world likes it, but it's not everyone's going to catch on. So being okay with that, being okay with the negative connotations that come with it, and then understanding the business, because it is a business. Anybody that's a singer or writer or rapper or musician, if you're choosing to display it publicly, be aware that it is a business and you should handle it as such, rather than it's just, I'm an artist and I'm going to go have fun and I'm going to drink and party. That's probably the worst way to go. The best way would be definitely to, you know, get yourself solidified, understand the business, and understand yourself.
Great advice. Great advice. And I've never had anybody touch on the subject of going out and drinking and partying and drugs, because that is such a huge part of the industry. And unfortunately, we lose those people. And it's sad, and I that's why I think I ask every artist that comes on for advice for other artists, because I think it's so important to hear things like that. So thank you. Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. The biggest thing that I've noticed too is sometimes it's something as simple as the word no. If something doesn't work for your energy or something doesn't work for, you know, your morals and your values and who you stand for, if you can't look at yourself in the mirror after doing something, it's probably not a good idea.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so if people, first we'll talk about the songs. What 2 songs are we going to hear?
Well, we're definitely going to hear Finer Things.
Mm-hmm.
That is definitely one of my favorite records. And then Agree to Disagree, the essential compromising song.
Yes, and those are on my radio station, Allie's Amplified Attic, so you guys can hear it, not just here, but there as well on Sundays. Now we can find you on Google. People can just Google Patrice Lee.
Oh, yes, absolutely. You can Google Patrice Lee. Any information that you'll need will come up under the tours, any dates for performances, any new music, and then all the streaming sites of where you can purchase the music as well.
Okay, perfect. And also for social media, it's at Patrice Lee Music that they can find you, right?
Absolutely. And that is me absolutely responding on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat.
It's so much better when you're personally responding. I mean, I have my manager, Maggie, is helping me out with everything. And sometimes she'll go in and she'll respond and stuff. And then I'm like, wait, what? Huh? What is it? No, I want to talk to them. You can do the scheduling, but I still kind of want to talk to them. So it makes a difference. And I know, I mean, I'm a music fan to the core, and I have been ever since I was little. And I don't like it when I know I'm messaging somebody and it's not going to them, it's going to a handler or, you know, whatever the case may be. And it's just so impersonal. And half the time you don't get a response anyway.
I've heard that from other people talking about other people who are like, no, that's me. I respond. Oh, yeah, you respond.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's good. Don't stop. Don't ever stop. Okay, so Patrice Lee, thank you so much for coming on my show. And like I said, I'm in love with your music. I wouldn't have added it to my station if I didn't. I wouldn't have asked you to come on the show if I didn't. I can just see you going so far, especially with the mindset you have. I love your mindset. Don't ever lose that, and don't ever let anybody tell you any different, which you're not, which is good. And I wish you all the best. And anytime anything new happens and you want to come back on, you're more than welcome. If you want to send me new music for the station, you're more than welcome. And you know how to get a hold of me. So don't be a stranger. And thank you so much for coming on my show.
Yay, thank you so much for having me. You've been a complete doll. I love you to pieces.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you for joining me on Allie's Attic Show. Keep checking my website, because you never know what kind of surprises you're going to find in my attic. Cheers.
Say money to get. My name ringing in the street, you heard they cut me a check. Yeah, he rep the West, and he hang with the best. 4-star everything, and his daughter is blessed. I don't know what you been doing, but I been getting to this paper. All these niggas is haters, and I didn't get here by favor. From Sancho Pay to Bomb, we rock the streets like Cherie. The Sprinter Vans be poppin', out the renters we poppin'. Seen a 4 from the top when we came from the bottom. Still that same young nigga, but ain't passed with honors. I been poppin' these bottles, guess it's part of my job. I got a bitch in every state that wanna flock my heart and say she can play that part. Something like Martin and Gina, front row at the arena. She even hold my Nina. It's real, then it's back to the spot. It's what I'm telling you. 400. We the ones that done it. Old schools on Rosecrans in the hood where it's good at. Long way from fronted. Catch me now, I be blunted. And I'm talking about that granny house, nigga. It used to pop off at granny house.
Finer things, the finer things, his life can bring. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Finer things, the finer things, his life can bring. Do-do-do-do-do-do.
Maybe you'll come back this way. Sit down and talk for another day.
Stop right there. Can we talk? Can we talk? Don't wanna fuss and fight no more. Take a deep breath, let it out. You're the man that I adore. No need to sit and go back and forth. No need to throw things out the door. I won't excel this time, I'm waiting. I gotta love you, baby.
Maybe you'll come back this way.
Let's agree to disagree.
Sit down and talk for another day.
Another
Maybe you'll come back
day.
this way.
Let's agree to disagree.
Sit down and talk for another day.
You made your point, I made mine too. We don't see eye to eye. What's wrong with us? I love you. I need you to agree. I'll agree. We cuss and fuss and scream at each other, but neither one of us wants to be with another. I love you. Let's make this work. Will it work for the sake of our heart?
Maybe you'll come back this way. Sit down and talk for another day. Maybe you'll come back this way. Sit down and talk for another day.